This is MesoWatch. Good afternoon. This is for September 25th. We're going to be watching this activity right here. We got elevated convection stretching across sections of the upper Midwest, low pressure of about 1,004 millibars. We got this trough over the northern plains. Looks like we got a area to watch here over the next several hours into sections of eastern Minnesota, much of northern and central Wisconsin, into parts of Michigan. This will also stretch into areas of Lake Superior as well. So we're going to go ahead and detail this out here. All right. So we're going to first take a look at these mid-level lapse rates. You can see this area of elevated convection draped across parts of Minnesota. All this activity stretching into Minnesota as well. This is the mid-level lapse rates. The low-level lapse rates are definitely a little bit higher around here. But you can, as you can see, we got 8 to 8.5 being observed. So this is the centigrade per kilogram. So like an air parcel will weigh, even ones that weigh more will have stronger updrafts, definitely in this area for sure. And when you see numbers this high, definitely thinking that will, I believe the maximum values that are projected, looks like we got 9 down here, even some more spots. I believe this is going to be on the increase here with this elevated storms. And kind of our weak area at the very moment here is our effective shear parameters, 50 to 60. So obviously this is slated to increase over several hours. So as those lapse rates persist, looks like we're going to have this 70, like 50 to 70 knot vertical shear. That is going to enhance some of these updrafts. So obviously we're looking at definitely a threat for large hail with a lot of these storms coming into the evening hours. We'll keep a close eye on that.
And a couple tornadoes.
Yep, yeah, we're looking at a potential for a couple of tornadoes as well. Looks like the storm.
This is not going to be no outbreak or anything like that. We could just see a few tornadoes. Yeah, so, main threat's going to be large hail. That's why that hatched area is in place.
Yeah, sure. Looks like obviously we're going to be having an increase, definitely an increase of low-level shear along this line as well. Looks like we got 300 to 450. This is the meter square per second square. That is the directional wind shear. So how many degrees? So yeah, definitely the turns at the low level of the atmosphere, just within a kilometer aloft. That is
so it's definitely
and also that is factoring in the storm motion. Obviously, the storm motions will be anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour, or 30 to 40 knots, rather. Yeah, that would translate to 40 to maybe 50 miles an hour with some of these cells as they into the evening hours.
Only have time to take cover today, so you definitely want to.
Yeah, sure. So
have a way to get warnings. Have a plan action.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think most of what we're lacking, we can see all this elevated convection here that is developing. We definitely lack some of that moisture, the moisture profile. And all right, I'm gonna see what deep moist conversions. Yeah, it looks like a lot of the moisture is in place up here. Looks like obviously there's some drier air that's in place further aloft over here. So just depending on how much of this moisture advects into this area, that'll kind of drive the storms and everything. We'll definitely keep a close eye on that. And yeah, I'm gonna take a look at this HRRR loop, kind of comparing how some of these models play this convection here. So of course we're definitely noting some of that drier air. Obviously, a lot of that moisture in place from up north. Yeah, and then we have another round of storms into tomorrow as well. So, yeah, definitely a renewed concern here. And again, like I said, what we're lacking is some of that moisture. So storms probably won't be widespread, but if we do get a stronger storm out of this,
It's still something to pay attention though.
yeah, sure. So that as that trough kind of as we get a little bit more moisture kind of advecting into this region here, of course, then we're definitely going to see some of those stronger cells. I'm gonna go a little bit further past. Yeah, this is towards the evening hours. I'm going to look at a sounding here with one of these because we can definitely see what kind of looks like a shear marker, inflow signature, whatever you call it. And as we can see here, looks like the level of free convection around here, the lifted condensation level, is about 1 kilometer aloft, and that is kind of where the base of the updraft is going to be. We have a little bit of an inversion layer at the surface. We can see on this sounding here a little bit of an inversion layer, and we can definitely note within 3 kilometers, we're definitely seeing a very strong indicator of shear. That is where I'm most concerned about. I think to address the overall inversion layer, that may downplay the tornado threat a little bit with some of these. But I believe as we
don't write your guard down.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sure. So obviously the higher surface-based instabilities in place further ahead of these storms. Definitely looking at modest dew points, and we can definitely tell. Yeah, we're seeing. Yeah, just looking at this lapse rate that we or the instability is much higher further off. This is a dendritic, much more moist over there, and when we get that updraft, I believe, that's definitely looking good there for some of those larger hails, and I believe we have some sounding analogs. Obviously, soundings. It's kind of calculating potential significant hail. What all that means. Or significant hail looks like 72%, 25 loose. So from what this is saying, definitely some strong updrafts in place. I think hail is going to be the biggest concern with all of these elevated.
Hail may be up to 2 inches, so you definitely want to have your car in.
Yeah. So again, as you can see, this is 1 kilometer reflectivity. So you don't necessarily see much on here, but what I'm worried about is stuff that's much further aloft. So I'm gonna change the product on here. I'm gonna go composite reflectivity. This is gonna show. This is gonna kind of show things a little bit better. And we can see heading into the evening, you can see what looks like one of those gust fronts, or an area where we kind of have that boundary where we have more lift with this there.
Look at
I believe that's further off.
Too.
Yeah, this is a sign that we have some of those stronger updrafts, just that signature right there. And I believe we may see embedded hail in this area as well, because again, it's just another area of lift.
So this,
I think some of that's more widespread, smaller hail could be in place. But again, just depending on how much moisture we have, because in order for there to be hail, you have to have moisture. And you can see we have to have more moisture kind of advect further south in order for a more widespread concern. And that's why we kind of have that slight risk. And the conditions are favorable for large hail. Whether you get hail or whether you not get hail just depends on how much moisture you get. And pretty much. Yeah, sure. And I'm going to look at, see if we can get some an idea of some of those more elevated dew points. Definitely looking at some higher ones, like I said, like I had in the sounding earlier. I'm going to look at a sounding just right around this area because definitely we're going to be looking at potential updrafts in this area. And we can see marginal tornado. We got an inversion layer at about 2 to 3 kilometers there. And yeah, the level of free convection's right up here. We kind of get a break in that instability there because it's too warm. We don't have colder.
Can you see the tornado parameters?
Yeah, so it looks like the low level shear is still there, 0 to 1 kilometer. It really increases there. And it looks like I'm going to have to plug in my PC. So,
okay, it happens. So I'm going to say this too. If this is tonight where we don't think it's going to be an outbreak or anything, we just think this is going to be some kind of minor event. But definitely, if you have vehicles, you definitely want to park them in the garage tonight while this is going on. We definitely don't want no cars out there, because if you do have them out, 2-inch hail can really tear up a vehicle, right, Isaac?
Yeah, definitely. And we can see, I believe, because you can see all this lake water out here, that could be another source of moisture. That it's really influenced by the lake up here, and then probably some more of that moisture kind of being driven by that trough as well, as that kind of digs over Lake Superior. That may be another source of storms as well. And a lot of these storms are kind of hovering over the lake as well. So, yeah, even we got moisture up here. It's kind of being advected. It could be from the Pacific or the Gulf. I believe the upper level moisture is kind of advecting in from probably the Pacific. I would have to look at the geopotential height product. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look.
Let me tell. Yeah, well, you look, I'll start telling people some things. Okay. When I looked at SPC the other day, that was just showing me a 5% tornado. It doesn't matter if we have 5%, 0%, 2%, or you get to the hatched area, matter what. Any percent of a tornado can be bad if it hits your area. So you definitely want to keep that in mind, that we still have a tornado, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at that possibility here into the evening hours. You
guys want to have a plan in action. Have a plan in action.
Yeah.
A severe thunderstorm warning, you would definitely want to move to the lowest floor. Get away from the windows if you go under a severe thunderstorm warning. If you don't see a tornado warning today, you could see very large hail, maybe the size of 2 inches, or some straight line damage and winds where it still can be bad as a tornado. And if you go under a tornado warning, 2 keys to remember: get centered and get covered. Do not wait today. We definitely don't want anybody to wait and be on the road and get caught. And even a small tornado, even a weak one, can still injure somebody, right, Isaac?
Well, yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on the situation into tonight. And as we can see,
and we don't want anybody going to the hospital either.
Yeah, sure. So we can see a lot of this moisture at 500 millibars. This is kind of the upper level, several kilometers aloft. And we can see kind of that all this moisture coming in from the Pacific at the upper levels. So that may be the dominant concern, with all that moisture kind of advecting into areas around Lake Superior, northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, of course. And it looks like with that ridge building over, that may advect some moisture from the Gulf as well. So, it's not really any. We're not seeing much out of the way at the low levels here. I'm gonna see if we have.
What about flooding?
We'll keep a close eye on that. But yeah, heading into tonight and tomorrow, definitely looking at areas where I believe. All right, whoops, that's a lot of ads and stuff getting in the way here. But yeah, at 8:50, looks like some advection coming in from the Gulf as well, and we got that definitely that areas where the air gets much colder there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
It's
thing
much
is,
colder up here.
going into the weekend, everybody just needs to have a way to get warning. This is not going to be a disaster outbreak or anything like that. We could see a severe thunderstorm warning or two, or even a couple of tornado warnings. We just want you to be aware. We're not trying to frighten anybody or scare anybody, but we're just trying to tell you there could be some advisories, a tornado warning, or even a severe thunderstorm warning. And if you go under a flood warning this weekend, flooded roadway, you're definitely not going to make it, right, Isaac? If you try to go, if you cross that, right?
Yeah, so with the storm motion of about 30 to 40 miles an hour, I do not anticipate much of a flash flooding
Yeah, I
concern
don't think that
today
either.
because just
Since
generally,
it's
like
been
I said,
dry.
with the lack of moisture. I believe locally heavy downpours could happen, gusty winds with those downdrafts, but we don't anticipate
and have
we don't
flood
anticipate
event.
a heavy rain event that will be prolonged.
But have weather radios in handy tonight.
Yeah, sure. Heading into tomorrow, of course.
Have a weather radio.
Of course, we have that mid-upper level trough here that'll be over the northern plains. I saw that 850 map. Obviously, the heights are a little bit lower down there. So definitely looking at as this trough pushes through, that's going to really change the weather pattern. We got a more elongated trough here that'll kind of dig down into the Midwest. We can definitely note the strong cold front. So, I mean, you can see
don't worry.
So, yeah.
Like I said, don't worry. All weekend long,
centigrade,
somebody
down to
be here.
22 degrees centigrade below. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be some. So, I mean, this is the 850 millibar temperature. Obviously, the surface temperature may be still a bit warmer. Just depending on the timing of this front here that's coming in on Monday. But definitely, as this trough digs through, we're going to see more storms here heading into Saturday or into the weekend.
Here a minute, Isaac.
It's going to be slow moving.
Let me say something to everybody here quick again. I'm going to say some things again. But we'll be here all weekend long to pass along any advisories or any tornado warnings, flash flood warnings. It could be me and Isaac, or it could be some of the team members be working with us this weekend. We just want everybody to have a way to receive warnings. Have a weather radio, a TV, a tablet, or even anything just to see warnings. Do not let your guard down. Don't think we'll see a tornado warning. Don't even think the wind shear's there, and we do have the warm temperatures and the moisture to trigger this. So we'll be here all weekend passing along advisories, right, Isaac?
Well, sure. Obviously heading into the weekend, looks like we got some pretty mild air that will be in place heading into the weekend, of course, just locally. And I would anticipate,
and this could be the last one.
Arrival of this front here. We'll have multiple rounds of storms. I believe Monday will kind of be the more active day across the Midwest.
I'm going to say again, this is not going to be an outbreak. Anything. People think this is going to be an outbreak. It's not. This is not going to be like Easter Sunday or anything like that.
And
you get warm air.
Yeah, some definitely some stratus along that front as well. We can see kind of the influence of the Appalachians, how it's much colder around there as well. But looking at parts of the Midwest here,
this could be the last warm air, couldn't it?
Well, no, this is just going to be another one of those cold spells that push through here during the early part of next week. And obviously heading into Thursday, that kind of get even colder air with the heights kind of receding. That will, and I think where the air where we do get some clearer skies over the Great Lakes region, we can definitely see temperatures going into the 30s, and we see that warmer air that's in place over the lake. So what I would what I would infer about the weather pattern heading into Friday or into the weekend, we definitely note some potential freezing air that could be over a broader swath of the Midwest. This model is indicating 32 degrees, maybe some 20s across Wisconsin.
Wow.
I mean, just depending on, how skies do clear out. Obviously, this model may not have much of a handle of cloud cover, or just
clear out. We'll have cold temperatures.
The air a little bit. I would anticipate if areas do get clear skies, light winds, we could definitely see some even further locations could experience lower air temperatures. But we can see, I believe we got parts of the Michigan warm Friday morning. I would anticipate there,
if you need to.
Yeah, sure. I would anticipate over sections of Lake Superior. If we do get a shallow area of warm air and then some colder air that would be in place aloft, some areas may have the potential to see lake effect precipitation in some of these areas. I would not doubt that. We can definitely see a lot of this would be rain. I would not expect here actually looking at
let me explain some more things to people again before the weekend. I know the weekend a lot of people like to go fishing and boating here in Southern Illinois and whatever you at, have a way to receive warnings if you on the water. Do not lightning is, even we don't get a tornado warning or even a severe thunderstorm warning, you're going to see lightning, and lightning is always deadly, right, Isaac?
Yeah, definitely. Just make sure that you have a way to check the forecast before you go out, before planning any recreational activities when you're outside.
And even you're on a boat, you just call a neighbor or somebody like that.
Yeah, sure. Just
camping is one thing. I was getting a little concerned.
Yeah, sure.
Just think before you do something.
Yeah, definitely. So as we do get that increase in surface space CAPE here heading into the evening, of course, once again, and just depending on how much moisture does advect into this area with that elevated convection, that there's a lot of drier air that's going to be in place. So, while storms won't be widespread heading into the evening, definitely looking at some concern with that boundary. Of course, we definitely could note some stronger mid-high level updrafts that could produce potential hail, maybe 1 to 2 inches in diameter in some areas. So, definitely have to wait to receive
damage, so we definitely want
Yeah, sure. So
tune into us.
We will have more information for you coming up. Please stay tuned. This has been MesoWatch for September 25th.